All right, so once again, this is where we left off, right? We completed the first couple transactions, right? The last where we left off, it was going to be our purchase of more inventory on June 10th. We purchased 750 items at $4.25 each with a freight of 75, giving us this grand total right here, right? And here we updated our inventory and we associated that this batch is our yellow batch, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at what happened on June 12th. We sold 450 units. So let's take a look. Do we have enough from our blue batch?
Yes.
Yes, we do. So in this case, oh, okay, I forgot the date already. It's June 12th. June 12th, you sold 450 units. So June 12th, sold 450 units, okay? At what price? Okay. So once again, because this is a penny that we have to half a penny that we have to round up, so we have to be very careful on our calculations here. So what should be my total cost of goods sold? $18.5625. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight that in blue just so you know that this was from the blue batch. All right, so once again, we're pulling information from our blue batch. Okay, so what we left off here is we know that we should have a remaining of 550, right? And then now we just sold an additional 450. So therefore, how much should we have left in my blue batch? 100. Okay. Same thing here. If I know that I began my blue batch with 2268.75, right? And I decided to sell 1856.25 worth, how much should be remaining in my blue batch? 412.50, right? Or in other words, 100 times $4.12.5 should give you 412.50. Okay, so those are all for my blue batch. So here, now that I've calculated it, right? Now I can go ahead and update my inventory, right? I no longer have 550, I have 100, which gives me exactly $412.50 remaining in my balance in my blue batch. Okay. Is everyone good with me so far? Okay. So then, what has happened on June 15?
You sold 100.
We sold how many?
Wait a minute. You sold 500. I'm sorry.
Okay. We sold 500 more units on June 15. So let's take a look at our batches. Do we have enough for 500?
No, not in the first one.
Not in the first one. So we have to split it. We have to do one from the blue, and then we have to also dip into our yellow batch. So in this case, it is now June 15, right? Like I've mentioned before, we got to take 100 from our blue batch, and we sold 500. So therefore, how much do we need to take away from our yellow batch?
350.
Oh, wait.
Was it 500 or 450?
It was 500, so it should be 100 and 400, right?
Yeah. Okay, good.
I'm trying to get stuff ahead. That's already subtract 700 or 50.
Okay, sure. All right. I see what you did. Okay, I got it. I got what you meant. Okay. So there you go. So once again, this is a calculated amount because once again, we're dealing with two different separate batches, right? We're taking one from the blue batch, which is our 100, right? And then the second batch that we're going to take out is from our yellow batch, right? Yellow, right? So let's go ahead and deal with the first ones first. So again, this is 100, right? How much is our remaining here? So we know for a fact that it should be for 412.50. Okay, so equal 412.50. Okay. So automatically right here, since I still have my blue batch here, I'm going to go ahead and eliminate it. And if I had 100 minus 100, I should now be down, excuse me, to 0. Okay, same thing here, right? If I started with 412.50 and I'm subtracting out my 412.50, how much should I have remaining? 0. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight all this because this was associated with my blue batch. Okay. And then, of course, we have to update our inventory, right? Because we don't have the blue batch anymore. We eliminated the entire batch. So now I only have my last batch remaining, which is going to be my yellow batch for 750. Okay. So therefore, if I'm going to be utilizing my yellow batch and we're taking away 400, right? How much did it cost me to sell each yellow batch?
1740.
1740. Where did you get that? Oh, did you calculate the total already?
Yeah.
Okay. It's equal round. $17.40. Okay, excellent. Okay. All right, so 740 for the yellow batch. Okay, so once again, I'm going to carry my yellow batch, right? If I know I started with 750 and I know I sold 400, what should be my remaining quantity in my yellow batch? 350. Okay. Same thing here. If I started with 3262.50 and I sold 1740, how much should be remaining in my 1522.50? Okay, and this was associated with my yellow batch. I think it's this one. Okay.
Why is that bottom number five? Why is that 500 blue?
This is the total. So you remember, like I made my calculations, I used this light blue color. I think I should have used like a light green color so you could differentiate it. But that's the total amount that I sold. I sold a total of 500. I just added my batch of 100 for my blue and my batch of 400 for my yellow to equal out the amount. No. It's just to make sure that you know that this is your total amount, because when you journalize it, you can't journalize 100 for the 412.50. You have to do the whole entire batch.
Not what we're breaking it down to.
Yes. We're doing it as a total amount because we sold in total on June 15, 500 units, not 100, and then we sold another 400. No, we sold in grand total 500. So this is just a calculation. So, like I said, I should have made a different color. I don't. Maybe it's not too late to change it. So maybe I'll go back and make it like a light green so you guys can kind of see that this is a calculation. Oop, highlighted too much. Okay, so there you go. That's just to let you know that you took 100 from the blue, 400 from the yellow to give you a grand total of 500 that you sold. Okay, I just added the two numbers together. Okay. So now we need to update our yellow batch because we no longer have 750. We only have 350. And boom, it has calculated that it should give me a remainder of 1522.50, which, yes, it is 1522.50. Okay. Everyone go with me so far? Okay. So next we have here is June 20th. What happened on June 20th?
We bought 600 units at 405 each on account with freight of 20.
So we purchased 600 units at 405 with a freight of 20. 600, no, yeah, 600, 405, 20. Okay. So now this is June 20th.
Yes.
We purchased 600 at 405 with a freight of 20. So, what is my purchase price?
2430.
Okay.
2450 will be your total cost.
Okay.
Then your cost per item should be 4.083333.
Okay. Good. Okay. Give you guys a second to enter this in. Okay. So, we just entered a brand new batch. What color should we associate this brand new batch with? Okay.
How about red?
You okay, red. I was gonna say orange, but okay, red is good. Let's do red. No, let's do red. So we'll do this red right here. So it's a color we haven't used yet. Red. So we have this 600. So we're gonna go ahead and now transfer all the information into our inventory worksheet. So once again, we have 600 items costing at a grand total. I'm sorry. The cost per item is going to be the 408.333333, giving us a grand total of 2450. And we're going to make this red. So now, how many batches do we have now?
2.
2. Yellow and red. Okay. Right? So again, once we enter something in here, whether it's on the left side or the first column, second column, or third, we're always going to consistently go back and forth. Finish the first column, go into the middle, then go into the last column. All right. So then what has happened on June 22nd?
Sold 250 units.
Okay, so let's take a look at our batches. Do we have enough for the 250?
The first one, yes.
Yes, we do. So it is now June 22nd, and we sold 250 items. Okay, and we know for a fact we're going to take this 250 from our yellow batch. Okay. So if we're taking it from our yellow batch, what's the cost per item for the yellow batch? $4.35. So therefore, what is my total cost of goods sold?
1,087.50.
Good. 1,087.50. Right? There's no need for a calculation here because we only are eliminating from one batch. Okay. So once again, now that I have my cost of goods sold, I've calculated it. I'm going to go ahead and now take it away from my yellow batch. So here, I know for a fact that I'm starting with 350. Okay? And I sold 250. So I should have how much left of my yellow batch?
100.
100 items. Okay. All right, same thing here. If I started with 1522.50, okay, and I've sold 1087.50, oops, there you go. How much should I have remaining?
435.
435. Okay. Right? Or you could take 100 times the $4.35 to get you 435. That will also work too. So here, I'm going to also highlight this because this was in regards to my yellow batch. Right? And then, of course, last but not least, now that we've finished the second section, we need to go ahead and update the last section over here. For this section here, we don't have 350 anymore in our yellow batch. We only have 100, which, boom, once again, should automatically calculate to you $435. Okay. So then, what happened next on June 25th?
Bought 350 units at 435 each with a freight of 50.
350, 435, 50. 350. Okay, so it is now June 25th. Purchased 350 at 435 with a freight of 50.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so what is my total purchases here?
15, 22, and 50 cents. Total cost is 1572.50, and then cost per item I got 4.49285714.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So,
I got 4.49286.
Oh, mine keeps going.
yeah. No worries. However many decimals that you keep in your Excel, right? If you're doing this on Excel, it's pretty
I got a calculator off to the side. That's what I'm doing.
perfect. Good. If you're doing a calculator on the side, that's just as many decimals that you need. Okay, you don't need too many to display, but you definitely need a lot to calculate. All right, or leave it in your calculator. For Excel,
I don't know.
what was that?
Sorry, I do 5. It's
Okay.
like say for that one I have the was it 4.49286.
Okay. So for this, right, I'm only displaying you as many numbers just so then you guys remember that you don't round up right away. You're going to round later on, right, when you do your equal round formula. But for this case, I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that it's not a rounded number, okay? So for example, right, my 435, it's a rounded number. I know it's going to be zeros behind it. This one, not so much. This one, not so much. So it doesn't matter how much you display on your Excel, as long as you know that this is not a rounded number. That's all I need you guys to know. Okay? And that we're calculating it using every single digit. So if you're using Excel, it's important that you keep the formula in there. Same thing with the calculator. You keep the formula in there. Okay? So now that we have a new batch, what color should we associate this one this time? Orange. Okay. Boom. Orange. All right. You could slightly see the difference between the yellow, but that's okay. We're about to be done with the yellow anyways. So with orange, I'm going to go ahead and add that into my inventory on hand. So I should have now an additional 350 units, okay, which cost per item is going to be this 4.42 yada yada yada, which should give me, if I calculated my formula, it should give me the 1572.50, all right? And once again, I'm going to associate this with orange. Okay. So, everyone good so far? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at what happened on June 27th.
So 550 for 1050, and you must be in Arizona because no cell tax.
All right, so once again, here we are. It is now June 27th. Right, we sold 550 items. So let's go ahead and take a look at our batches. So, do we have enough for our yellow batch?
Yeah, we'll get rid of that.
We're going to get rid of that, and then we got to dip into which batch?
We'll take 400 out of the red.
Good. Okay. So, we sold a total of 550, so we're going to eliminate our first 100. 550 minus 100 should give you 450. So once again, just for you guys to know, this is going to be a calculated amount because we're taking from multiple batches of inventory. So I'm going to go and throw in this little green thing just so you know that this is a calculated amount, right? We're going to take 100 from the yellow batch and we're going to take 450 from the red batch. So let me go ahead and highlight that real quick. All right, so we have yellow that we're taking out from, and we have red that we're going to be taking out from. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with our yellow batch. How much was my cost per item for the yellow batch? $435, and we know for a fact if we multiply these together, you should get 435, right? And of course, once again, I'm going to go ahead and enter this information here, right? If I started out with 100 and I sold 100, therefore my yellow batch should be 0. Right? So I'm going to pull this 435 from above, right? That's what we ended within our yellow batch. We sold another 435, so therefore we should have 0. And, oh, wrong color. This is supposed to be yellow. Okay. And of course, now that we associated that we've eliminated our yellow batch, we're going to go ahead and update our inventory and say we no longer have any amount there. It's 0. It's gone. All right. So now we only have left our 2 batches, which is the red and the orange. And here we know one fact. We're taking out from the red already. We already made that association that we're going to eliminate from the red batch. So what is my cost per item for the red batch? 4.08333. So therefore, because it's a nasty number, we're going to go ahead and punch in our equal round formula. Okay.
633.33.
What did you say?
I got 16.
Oh, because you did 400, right? You didn't do 450?
I did 400. Oh, you did. Man, you're good at math.
No worries. Okay, so
1837.50.
1837.50. Yes, that should be your number.
Hey, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so we know when we have nasty numbers to use equal round. But say if you didn't have a nasty number, okay, and you used equal round, would you still get the same result?
Absolutely. So see, for this example here, right? I knew this was a rounded number. So at the end of the day, I just multiplied them across and I get 435, right? Even if I were to be consistent and I do equal round, right? And I punch in this, right? It's still going to give me the same result. It's still going to give
I
me
thought so. I
435.
want to confirm through you, but I was pretty sure that it did. So
Yeah, it shouldn't make any difference. But for this, I kind of got lazy, so I was like, okay, well, this is already rounded, so and we already know the answer to this one, right? If we're taking 100, right, we're eliminating the whole batch. We know it's gonna be 435. But I'm just doing for yeah.
that was just a general question, not actually just on this problem, but because I just got in the habit of using equal round
Oh
on
yeah.
my cost per items. This way,
Mm-hmm.
I never make a mistake.
Good, absolutely. That's good way of doing it as well. Yes. If it helps you, just go ahead and do that. I did do it for a couple of them. I believe I did it. I think I did it up here. Yeah, I did equal round up here. But it was just only this one because I got lazy. So, because I already know the answer.
Right? Yeah.
So, in this case, yes, if you want to be consistent and just use equal round throughout the whole formula, yes, you can technically pull down the equal round formula all the way down. Just know that you will have gaps in between. So, make sure that you do know that. And then on top of that, if you do need to do a calculation, like add up the totals, then that line will not be able to be used for equal round. It's not going to work because you're not taking your quantity and you're not multiplying it by a cost per unit. So, like that's why I mentioned to you that every line of item that you do on a calculation in Perpetual, you're going to have to re-enter it over and over again. All right, unless you figured out how to do the calculations with a click of a button, then you're good to go.
Well, that's what I do. I use
Good.
my macros, and I don't even have to do all that. So I use equal round for all my cost per items, and I just go. It's just 2 clicks and boom, I'm done.
Yeah, it's a lot more, yes. But in this case, I also want to make sure that you guys are engraved this in your mind. The equal round. It's your argument. Your first argument is going to be whatever your calculation is, comma, and the next argument is going to be how many decimal places do you want to place it. So, um, yes, right. So now that we eliminated our yellow batch, we now need to take away from our red batch. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look at how much my beginning balance is in my red batch. So I started out with 600 items, 600 units, right? I'm going to go ahead and sell another 450, right? And that should give me a total remaining of 150. All right, same thing here. I'm going to pull down my information because I know that my 600 items should cost me a grand total of 2450 even. Okay. And I'm going to subtract out this 1837.50. Okay. So therefore, I should get a remainder of 612.50. Good. All right, and I'm going to highlight this so I know that this came from my red batch. Okay. And now that I have this piece of information, right, I can now plug it up into my inventory by updating it. So now that I don't have 600 units left, I only have 150. Okay. And therefore, boom, gave me 612.50. Right. And now let's see what happened at the end of my scenario. I should have a total on June 31st, a total of 500 units. Which, since this is the end of the month, I can go ahead and write that this is June 30th. And then I can go ahead and equal sum this just to get my grand total if I wanted to. Or I could just simply, total it up here since I know that those are my ending batches. So if I were to go equal sum. Okay.
100 left?
You forgot about your 350 up there.
I'm on the wrong worksheet, that's why.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, crap, I did everything wrong. It doesn't look nothing.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Sorry, guys. So I am on the wrong worksheet, so here I am. So I am going to equal sum this just to verify that I have the correct amount of in my ending inventory. So I do have 500 left, costing me a grand total of my 2,185 even. Okay, so there you go. So again, this is going to be transferred over into your next inventory worksheet. Okay, if there is one, okay? But in this case, that's it for this section here. All right. Any questions?